Sudowoodo is not a very good competitive Pokemon, and it never has been. Until now, I guess, because a creative player managed to break the top 20 in the world with a ridiculous Sudowoodo team during the official ladder tournament, which is a time when many high-level players were grinding the ladder. This Sudowoodo team performed excellently and managed to get some impressive wins against talented players using meta teams. Keep in mind, folks, Sudowoodo is a Pokemon ranked in the ZU tier. This is as low as you can get, and to see it succeed in OU, among the best of the best competitive has to offer, such as Dragapult and King Gambit, is pretty ridiculous. The player serperiorr, formerly known as Some Idiot 19, not only used Sudowoodo on this team, but also used the novel Mimikyu and Okidogi. What is the logic behind this team and these strange Pokemon choices that managed to be so successful? Let's take a look, folks. Subscribe to the channel to ensure your own safety. Thank you. Sudowoodo is a typical Pokemon rock type, with its stats skewing towards attack and defense. But even compared to other rock types, it isn't fantastic in these areas. 100 base attack is okay, but nothing to write home about, and 115 defense, while good, is pretty much the only thing Sudowoodo has going for it at all. All of its other stats are horrendous, most notably that 30 base speed. In Sudowoodo's debut generation, it was ranked in the NU tier, and it has just never been great. These kinds of rock types with skewed stats always have problems competitively, but Sudowoodo is even outclassed by some other ones like Golem and Serperiorr. But in Gen 9, Sudowoodo actually does have some unique advantages over similar rock-type Pokemon. In Generation 9, Sudowoodo gained access to Spikes, which is a big deal. Spikes have always been a popular entry hazard, applying significant damage to switch-ins, but especially in Gen 9 they are popular, as Gholdengo is a fantastic supporter for Spikes teams. Gholdengo is able to block Rapid Spin, Mortal Spin, and Defog, allowing teams to invest in stacking hazards and maintain them on the field for a very long time. So Sudowoodo now has access to Stealth Rock and Spikes, and on top of this it has the ability Sturdy. Sturdy is basically like a passive Focus Sash. It has the same effect, allowing you to live a hit from full health and survive on 1 HP. Since Sudowoodo does not need to spend its item slot on Focus Sash, it can afford to run a different item. And the item of choice for Sudowoodo is Custap Berry. Custap Berry is a consumable item that activates when you're at 1/4 of your HP or less, and it allows you to move first in your priority bracket on your next turn. This is fantastic alongside Sturdy, as taking a hit will put you into range of the Custap Berry and allow you to do one more action before you faint. This is an excellent choice on Pokemon with hazards to set. Not only can Sudowoodo set more hazards on the field with this Custap Berry allowing it to act first, it has two more great things it can do. Sudowoodo can use Head Smash, a high power rock type attack that deals recoil damage to yourself. In this case, fainting to your own recoil damage is actually a good thing, because if there is no Pokemon on your side of the field, the enemy cannot use Rapid Spin. Rapid Spin has to connect with an opponent and deal damage to be able to remove hazards from the field. So against a Great Tusk, for example, you could Head Smash into them, KO yourself on purpose, and their Rapid Spin will completely whiff. This is a great momentum play that allows you to start the game off with a significant hazard advantage. Head Smash also deals respectable damage. It has 150 base power, and your attack stat is a respectable base 100. This can be a great way to open games. Sudowoodo also has another excellent option to use alongside this Custap Berry proc, Endeavor. Endeavor is a move that when used will deal damage to the enemy such that they are left with the same HP that you have. So if you're at 1 HP and you use Endeavor, you will put the enemy to 1 HP exactly. This obviously synergizes perfectly not only with Sturdy but with Custap Berry. An enemy trying to eliminate Sudowoodo will be brought all the way down to 1 HP and easily eliminated by the hazard you just set if they try to switch in, or anything dealing absolutely any damage whatsoever. Sudowoodo happens to be the only Pokemon in Gen 9 with all of these traits at once, and this is actually a pretty good set of traits for a hazard setting opener that can enable a Hyper Offense strategy very well. Gholdengo is of course a no-brainer alongside Sudowoodo to help maintain your hazards on the field at all costs, and the rest of the team also synergizes with this hyper-aggressive opening game plan. Okidogi was chosen here to not only give you some counterplay against Toxic Spikes, as poison types can remove Toxic Spikes from the field simply by switching in, but also to improve the team's matchup against greedier defensive teams. Okidogi is not the most common pick in Gen 9 OU, but it's not a bad one either. With the Toxic Chain ability, you can spread poison on all of your contact moves, and with Bulk Up, Drain Punch, and Knockoff, you can set up against defensive and passive enemies, remove their useful items, especially heavy-duty boots, and even heal yourself up with Drain Punch becoming a serious problem for them. It also helps that you can't be toxic. A A weakness policy is used on this Okidogi, which is in line with the team's fast pace. Weakness policy is a consumable item that activates when hit by a super effective attack, and it will grant you +2 special attack and physical attack. Okidogi has the bulk to live a stray super effective hit and strike back with lethal force thanks to this weakness policy boost. Okidogi is a great choice here, providing a little bit more defensive backbone, counterplay against toxic spikes, and improving your matchup into defensive teams all in one. Mimikyu is also a Pokemon not commonly seen in Gen 9 OU, but the concept of Mimikyu Hyper Offense has existed in the past. This was a strategy back in Gen 7, and the same idea can apply here and be quite effective. Mimikyu has the ability Disguise, which is kind of like a free substitute. Disguise will grant you insurance against a single incoming hit, allowing you a free turn to set up Swords Dance or just attack your enemy. On a fast-paced team like this, Mimikyu not only acts as a win condition itself, but also a backup check to important threats, like a Booster Energy Iron Valiant. Your Disguise will shield you from an incoming hit, and you can KO them back very easily. The same is true of Raging Bolt, Dragapult, and even Great Tusk. It also helps that Mimikyu itself can block Rapid Spin, giving you even more insurance against enemy hazard removal, and making Great Tusk seriously second-guess itself from clicking Rapid Spin into your team, even if they do eliminate Goldengo. Mimikyu also provides Shadow Sneak support, which alongside the spikes and hazards racking up chip damage over the course of the game, and all of your other offensive threats, can be a great way to clean up in endgames, dealing that extra bit of chip damage you need, and is generally a good option into other offensive teams. The rest of the team is pretty standard. A Booster Energy Great Tusk is used, Booster Energy being a logical item choice on this fast-paced team, so short-term value is king here. Booster Energy provides a speed boost, and this is also a bulk up Great Tusk with a more aggressive approach. And King Gambit is the king of Gen 9 OU. It's no surprise to see it here, especially because Sudowoodo often sacrifices itself early on. Your own Pokemon will faint pretty quickly, powering up the King Gambit as a logical win condition. King Gambit also provides a lot more than just that, as a fantastic defensive switch-in against many things, offering priority support, and even helping you wall break against passive defensive enemies. Air Balloon is used here to provide more entry points for King Gambit in the short term, which fits very well with the game plan. This kind of hazard stacking Hyper Offense strategy is reminiscent of Gen 3 OU, where Smeargle or Glalie teams aim to set spikes on the field as quickly as they can and keep up momentum the entire game. This team has a very similar game plan, and it is a very creative approach to such a team with a lot of novel Pokemon choices that make a lot of sense when you think about it. Check out the Smogon thread by serperiorr, formerly known as SomeIdiot19, for a more detailed explanation of all the Pokemon choices, example replays, and other matchup notes. Thank you for watching.